Hello, this is old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com, and this video is just another practice video so I can learn to use my new editor. It's called Movavi, M-O-V-A-V-I, and it is really nice. But I gotta learn to figure out where all the bells and whistles are. So I made this video. I'll get you caught up on a few things around our yard. A box in the back of that pickup truck holds the corpse of a guy who made a negative comment about one of my videos. Now there's a Jeep axle in there. And so my son is still working on that. And he's got the engine out of it and getting ready to put another one in it. And then somebody asked me what kind of a car was underneath of that cover. And I gave him the wrong information because I'm so old and forgetful. But anyway, it's a Corvette. It's a 1970s vintage Corvette. And my granddaughter's boyfriend bought it. And he's putting a new engine in it. And he's working on that engine right now and getting it ready to go in. There's still parts coming in the mail. But he'll have that in there, and it's a nice, powerful 5.8 liter, so it ought to work pretty well. And then one of the reasons my son is going to cost him that seat right there to replace it with something new is about $1,000 because they don't make them anymore. So that kind of slows down progress. And then the neighbor who had 8 heads of cattle in that little corral there in that pasture, he didn't know that one of them died up in the corner over here to the left, over to the right, and he wasn't keeping track, I guess. But we started smelling this terrible smell in the hot weather of the summer, and so finally somebody figured out that he had a dead cow laying over there. So I don't know if that's the reason that he's no longer got 8 cattle there, but there's only 2 left, and they're over here in the corner, laying up against the fence there. And then he also sells beef, and my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter here, she bought some of it. And so anyway, that's the story on the neighbor. There's no longer 8 cows there. And we had 2 burros and 4 goats and a lot of chickens a long time back, like a couple of months ago. And we got rid of the burros because they were tormenting the goats. And then we got 3 horses, and or I didn't. I don't have anything to do with it. But anyway, so I want to tell you a story. A friend of mine, who also was a pilot, wanted me to fly him down to Cameron. It's called Cameron Airport, and so this was like several years ago. So there's where it is. It's in California, and you'll notice it's in a little bowl, and it's bowl shaped. You got to come in from the north, and then you land going downhill, and then you get it stopped before you get to the other end. And then also they have that extra spot, extra strips of dirt just in case you overshoot. And then you can't take off you can't land towards the north because all of these hills would make it very difficult. And so looking down the runway from south to north, you can see that when you land, you got to land from the north, and then you take off to the south, and then as you're starting to lift off and climb out, then you got to make a right-hand turn to miss these hills. So anyway, it's a cool airport to go to. But anyway, he wanted me to take him to it again, maybe a year later to meet his family down there. And so we got in the plane, and my plane went in southeast Washington in Pasco, and we were headed down to that Cameron airstrip in California. Well, as we moved along, we flew west along the Columbia River and then turned south on the Willamette Valley. And the further we got south, the more the weather changed from nice blue skies to a little bit of a cloud. And so then there was a little more clouds, a little more clouds, a little more clouds. By the way, this guy, we've been hearing so much noise lately of people hammering. One of my last videos, which was recently, that house wasn't nearly that much finished. But anyway, they're working on it now. So anyway, we kept running into more and more. It was overcast, and so we kept going along under the overcast. And then as we went a little further, pretty soon there was another cloud base below us. And so we were going between the overcast and the clouds below us, and we didn't realize it, but as we were flying along, the two of them were converging, and we got to a point where you couldn't see anything except clouds in front of you. So we were fortunate enough to look down and see a hole in the cloud, and it looked like a farmer's field or something down below us. So we did a circling slip and fell through the hole and came out underneath the overcast. But it was a fairly low overcast, and so we kept going south, but it kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I can't remember. I think we had to end up landing in Burns, Oregon, and then he called his friends, and his family, as soon as they knew where he was and told him they'd come get him, well, I fueled up and took off back north again, and slowly got out of the cloudy conditions and flew just fine. I did, when I finally got to where it was all nice and clear up along the Columbia, I actually fell asleep because I was so tired from fighting the weather. And I woke up and I had no idea where I was. So it took me a little while to get reoriented to where I had drifted off to while I was sleeping. So anyway, it's all true story, just a lot of fun I had flying. And so now one of the things that I learned when I was flying my little Cessnas was if you're flying along and you see an object in front of you, like a mountain or anything, and you can't see the horizon behind it, well, then you know that the object is higher than your altitude. So as you rise up in altitude and you begin to see the horizon, then you know the altitude of whatever you're looking at is the same as what you're up to. So I thought, I don't know how these microwave towers or cell towers, I didn't know how high they were. So I thought, well, as long as I'm out playing around and flying, I'll get them level with the horizon. And this one that's in the middle of the screen, I came down to where he was just right even with the horizon, and my drone altitude read 69 feet. So I'll just assume those are 70-foot towers, and I'll make sure that I'm above 70 feet when I fly, if I ever fly over them again. So anyway, I'm just making these fun videos to learn the ins and outs and the bells and whistles of the Movavi Video Editor, which cost me $59, but boy, is it fast, and that does not lock up my computer like the video editor that I was using, and then those that I've had in the past. So it's pretty nice, and it's got lots of bells and whistles that I haven't learned them all yet, but I'll just be making videos and putting more videos up for a while, just for the fun of learning how to use that program. So in the meantime, I want to thank you for watching my videos, and God bless.